everyone. Welcome in. It's a Wednesday. In fact, it is Wednesday, believe it or not, June 10th already. This is Darkness Radio and Supernatural News and Parashare. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. Allie Fox is under the weather today. She's fine. Trust me, I didn't lock her away in a closet or anything like that. She doesn't have Ebola or anything serious. Just a little under the weather. She'll be back next week. But trust me, folks, boy, did I get a bang-up co-host for you. As a matter of fact, I know when Mally's gone, I need to be put in place. So I found the best in the business. Ladies and gentlemen, here she is. She's the queen of the cryptids. Not only that, she'll whip me, beat me, and keep me in place. She's from Hellbentholler. Ladies and gentlemen, here she is, Jessi Doyle. Hi, Jessi. How are you?
Well, hello, Tim. Tim let me out of the closet for this show today. So
Yeah.
it's nice to see sunshine and breathe fresh air for the first time in a long time. So,
Well, little birdie tells me you may be seeing a lot of fresh air and sunshine in the next few weeks, right?
very much so. We are about to really dive into filming our next documentary film for Small Town Monsters. And this one is focusing on a really, really interesting place that you're going to love. I'll have to come on the show and talk about it when it's done. But we're going to be diving into Blood Mountain, Georgia.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Oh, now see, I'm getting goosebumps. I don't get that very often.
The place names market themselves for these films sometimes, so but it's a pretty wild place. There's been a lot of Sasquatch sightings out there, as well as a lot of high strangeness experience reported by a lot of people. So we're gonna go into the depth of the Blood Mountain Wilderness and see what we can shake up.
Wow. Okay, so I'm going to give a little bit of a review of Disclosure Day, and I fear for you, my friend, for going into the woods here. And I'll tell you why in a minute. But I did go and see Disclosure Day at a special screening here in the Twin Cities last night. And so I'm going to let our friends here know a little bit about the movie. And in there, I'm going to give you a little hint as to why maybe you should be a little extra careful, especially out there in Blood Mountain, Georgia.
All right.
Whew, here we go. Okay, so for weeks now, Jessi, I've been telling people I think that this third movie is actually Steven Spielberg's way of softening up all of us for the real disclosure. I don't think I was wrong. Again, spoiler free. I'm not going to tell you whether it is or isn't. I'm going to have you go see it this weekend so that you can find out for yourself. Again,
Okay.
He opens up Friday. All right. Now, right away, I'm going to tell you, maybe I had my expectations a little high for what Spielberg was going to give us, because again, I'm thoroughly convinced and in the camp that Spielberg has been working with the government all along. So I think he has all the secrets. Now, I will tell you this. This movie does reveal a heck of a lot more. I think Spielberg's put his cards on the table and is letting you know that he's been in bed with the government all these years. Because there's certain things on that screen that tell you he knows a heck of a lot more about what's going on behind the scenes than what he's letting on.
It would be interesting to see where the financing for a lot of this came from and kind of follow those trails. Because if, you've got Hollywood's top director for many, many decades at this point, he's working hand in glove to basically do what is called soft disclosure at this point. That's pretty interesting to think about, but I doubt he put all of his cards on the table. He's got a little ace up his sleeve somewhere.
Oh, I'll tell you this much, and I can give you this much about the movie. There's one scene, and I'll just break down quickly the plot for you. There's, and for lack of a better term, an IT guy who gets a hold of the fact and all the information that from a black shadowy cabal, we'll put it that way, that's working outside of the government. In other words, quote unquote, shadow government, right? That has been collecting the information about aliens being on our planet for the last 80 years and what they've been doing to it. Not just that, but they've been basically getting the reverse technology. They've reversed that technology. They're using the alien tech for themselves and making money off of it. So basically everything that we've known about aliens, okay? And they're profiting off of it. But they're also suppressing people from knowing about aliens. So basically they're the shadowy cabal, right?
Mm-hmm.
This guy has gone to work for them in their IT department, but he's grown a conscience and has decided to make off with the information. And he's decided he's going to release it to the world. Him along with one or two other people. And the main guy who's kind of being the quarterback for all of this is Coleman Domingo, who's an excellent actor. I love everything Coleman Domingo does. But Josh O'Connor is the main actor who is the kind of the one on the run, who's done the kidnapping, who's running with the football, so to speak. Emily Blunt plays a meteorologist who, between Josh O'Connor and Emily Blunt, each one of them develops these unique powers, for lack of a better term. Josh O'Connor is able to decipher these alien languages.
Okay.
Emily Blunt is able to psychically pick things up from people and project psychically certain things to people. So, for example, if you had a dead loved one on the other side, I could project to you that person, right? But you would see me as that dead person, and I could project their voice to you. So I could, and also she can read minds, and basically it's the whole psychic deal, right?
There are so many things that you're telling me that are in this film that mirror real life and kind of like where we're going in real life. And kind of the cutting edge of the study of the other, the study of high strangeness and people who are interacting with high strangeness. So yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe it's not just this about aliens or alien tech, but it's anything to do with high strangeness, how there is this interconnectedness and how we're kind of on the verge of touching the veil right now.
Now, here's where I say you're going to want to be careful when you go out in the woods.
All right.
Supposedly, these little powers opened up when a cardinal visits them. Right?
Right, which is an old it's one of the old wives' tales or superstitions that when a cardinal comes to visit you, it's actually one of your dead loved ones coming to check in on you.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it?
Or is it?
Maybe that bird isn't a bird at all. I'm just going to leave you with that.
I will say, if you are suggesting that the cardinal is actually an alien that is coming to monitor me, my outside cats are pretty good alien killers.
Or are they actually cats?
Oh my God. Well, all right.
Keep that in mind.
Well, I've been providing them with stinky mackerel treats for a while now. So if they are not actually cats, if they're actually just aliens or alien tech, then I will be in the favor of our alien overlords.
There you go. Something to keep in mind. This movie is pretty brilliant. I'll give it that. Colin Firth plays the main baddie of the Shadow Cabal, and he's excellent in this movie. You're going to love him because he is... without being overly bad, he's the ultimate dick. He really is. He's excellent in this movie. Everything about it is excellent. The only thing I didn't like about it is maybe it's a little understated. Maybe I was expecting more. This is the first Jurassic Park of alien movies. So you're waiting for the longest time to see the payoff. You really don't get it until the end.
Well, I mean, that's Spielberg, isn't it?
But it's perfect because it's building. It's building and it's building and it's building, and you get it at the end. But
that's good storytelling as well. You have too much of a instant gratification with a lot of films nowadays. So I'm okay with it. I like that anticipation, that building of action. And then finally you have that major release and that final showing, and then it means so much more than if you have constant action and constant just banging on that. So I'm okay with it. I'm here for it.
I'll give you one final detail and then we'll get to what I thought of the movie. And that's this. There's one author that we've had on this show that is absolutely going to explode with joy so much he may mess his pants. And that's this detail, Jessi. Early in the movie, they state, and I'm telling you, this is how I know Spielberg's on the inside. they show a clip of Nixon along with a famous TV actor, which is supposed to be Jackie Gleason.
Yeah.
And they show what's supposed to be an archival clip, which is a reenactment of Nixon taking this TV actor to go see the dead alien bodies.
Yeah.
That was highlighted by one author that we've had on this show. That was supposedly a well circulated tale in UFO and UAP circles for the longest time.
Yeah.
Supposedly really happened. And there's a way it happened. The only thing that changed was the way that Spielberg told the ending of the story and where they unveiled the bodies.
Interesting.
But I think he told the entire story in a quick clip in that movie. But
did you ever see Jackie Gleason's house that he had built after that?
Yeah.
It's UFO shaped, I think that absolutely happened because it had such a lasting impact on Jackie Gleason that he designed this mansion around, ufology.
And his wife sold was it his wife or the estate sold the house about it? No, it was his wife. I think his wife is still alive, sold the house a couple of years ago and Jackie swore to that day that was a real incident and that's why the house was built.
Yeah.
And with that clip, they explained why presidents up until now don't know why UFOs exist, or if they do or don't. And they explained that the UFO program is run outside of the government by the shadowy cabal.
Dick had to mess it up for everybody, didn't he?
He did. Yep. Richard Nixon screwed it up for everybody because he's the one who exposed it to other people. So they took it outside of the government. Why would Spielberg tell us that?
I guess because it's getting to the point now to where you can't hide it anymore, and it's about to converge with our world, with our existence, that we're on the verge of convergence, and it's unavoidable at this point. It's we're hurtling downhill right now, and there's nothing we can do to stop this snowball.
The way he explains it is the reason being also is that presidents can only serve a maximum of 8 years. That they just weren't trustworthy enough to keep that information with them, which again, because Nixon let it slip to a celebrity, none of them could be trusted. I get that. But still, everyone's supposed to keep it under their hat. Why would you keep it with a shadow? I get why you keep it with a shadowy cabal who, again, is supposed to keep it top secret to the end of their life, and they keep it with them under penalty of death, as opposed to a president who just serves his 8 years and then he's gone and he's in private life and he can tell whoever. And it's hard to keep them under a leash. With that, I'll give you my rating and we'll move on to today's show.
All right.
There are little bits in the movie where it lags a little, where it really should pick up a little bit. And there's other parts that have great action, where you're like, woo, that's kind of cool. And there's other parts where you wish maybe we could have a little bit more, a little bit more supernatural action as well. With that said, it's a very good story. There's a little bit of room for a part 2 here where maybe there should be some follow-up. And I would like to see, even though I won't tell you the end of the movie, there's room to expound on this quite a bit, because you're going to get to the ending and go, huh? And the ending is up to your interpretation. It's one of those movies, so don't get frustrated. All right. With that being said, I give it a 4 out of 5. It's a very solid movie. You don't have to go to a matinee to see this one, folks. I think you are going to love it, especially if you're a UFO, UAP fan. And I think you're going to say, you know what? Now I think my ears are open and my eyes are open to really want to see what the government's going to come out with. And maybe you'll look at this whole disclosure movement a different way.
Yeah. Awesome. I know there's a lot of anticipation for this film coming out, and it's no coincidence that it's coming out right now.
It's not a coincidence at all. No, I think this was definitely something to soften you up and get you thinking a different way.
Yeah.
So
Self-disclosure also considered a revelation of the method where they show you everything they're doing right in front of you. It's part of that whole thing as well.
yeah, absolutely. So it'll be in a theater near you this Friday. Get your tickets. Disclosure Day. Steven Spielberg movie with Colin Firth, Coleman Domingo, Emily Blunt, Josh O'Connor. Uh, uh, Disclosure Day is, I was looking for the rating on this, but I don't see it. I got to think it's, well, it was written by David Koepp and produced by Steven Spielberg, but, and the music is John Williams. I think this has got to be close to John Williams' last film doing
Probably, I would say so. He's been around a long time. I'm just glad that they didn't go the Danny Elfman route. I love Danny Elfman, but can you imagine what a different film it would be if it was Danny Elfman as opposed to John Williams doing the score and everything for it?
well, if I remember right from the interview I saw with Spielberg on the Late Show, I think he said that this was going to be Spielberg had said that this was going to be John Williams' either last score or
Yeah.
if it wasn't, he had to drag him out of retirement because the last few times he's done it pretty begrudgingly. So
You know who would have done a great job though?
who's that?
Trent Reznor.
That would have been creepy.
That would have been rad, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's a very I don't want to say the score for this was innocuous, but it felt like a Spielberg film. You know, the music was there, so it everything fit quite nicely in a nice.
And I don't think they wanted to shake too much stuff up on that. He wants to feel like a Spielberg film. It wants to have that feel. He wants to do. I mean, I don't know how many films Spielberg has left on him at this point.
I don't know. He's getting up.
You know, I mean, these are people who have been in the industry for a very long time, and it looks like there's been some sort of arc that he's been on over the past couple of decades with this. So maybe this might be the close to the end of the arc for that, and he's fulfilling his purpose and his obligations, I guess.
This one was directed by the man himself, and I got to think, like you said, Jesse, he can't have too many more left in him. He's got to be, if he's not close to 80, he's got to be up there, right?
Right.
Yeah. So there's got to be a swan song in here somewhere. Right?
Disclosure night.
Disclosure night, right? Yeah. This is it's got to be his best film probably in the last 20 years.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. So it's pretty darn good. I'll give him that. He's bounced back pretty well from the Crystal Skulls. I'll put it that way.
We do not speak of the Crystal Skulls. You know, I loved Super 8.
Yeah. Yeah. So. That one was pretty good. Yeah. That one was pretty good. Yeah. But yeah, the I don't know what he's thinking about with the Crystal Skulls. I don't know what was going through his head with that. But
I think that was fulfilling some sort of like contract obligation or something.
Well,
that's like you know, Brad Pitt only did Troy because he agreed to do some other movie and then he didn't do it. And so he owed them a film at that point. And then he did Troy. And then his Achilles was like one of the most iconic roles he had ever played. So it was kind of a happy accident. We did not get that with the Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls.
Yeah. Well, I get that it was supposed to feel like a 50s serial, you know, type movie, but it landed on the wrong foot.
They gave us a lot of Shia LaBeouf, didn't they?
Yeah, we could have done without that. It could have picked a whole different actor for that role.
My friend, I lived in New Orleans for a long time. My friend is the guy that Shia LaBeouf got in a fight with during Mardi Gras. So, yeah, a friend of mine, his name's Jeffrey. He's like the coolest guy you've ever met. He lives in LA. But he's like the chillest dude you've ever met. So I saw all the coverage from TMZ and I was like watching it, and it was like that meme from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with DiCaprio where he's going, and I was like, it's Jeffrey, it's Jeffrey.
Did Jeffrey say how it started?
Oh no, it's Shia was not even half in the bag. I think he had gone into the bag and then got hit with sticks and was out of the bag of being drunk. So it was just a lot of just misadventure, I'd say.
Yeah, I hear he's not a very nice guy. That's That's neither here nor there, I guess. I'll never party with Shia LaBeouf, I'll tell you that. But
Mark it off the list.
yeah, I can mark that off the list. I'm sure he and I will never hang. It won't be a hang that I'll look forward to. Disclosure Day, by the way, PG-13. It is a 2.5 hour movie. So if you've got a small bladder, probably don't order the large soda. That's probably but it goes quick. It's a quick 2.5 hour movie.
That's what I'll look for. I love when I've got an absolute epic, and then you're like, wait, what happened to the time there?
It starts off fast. And by the way, I happen to be a pro wrestling fan. It starts off with a pro wrestling scene.
Oh my gosh, this has everything.
It does. It does. And you'll recognize it too in the ring if you're a pro wrestling fan.
Cool. All right. I think you've sold it. I think everybody's gonna go check out Disclosure Day opening night this Friday. So
there you go. All right. With that, 2 more notes and we're on our way. I want to thank Corey and the crew at Jelly Bean and Julia for inviting everybody out to their place for the memorial for Kenny, who's Corey's father. It was a great memorial. Folks, if the thing I think we can all wish for when we pass is to have a giant room full of people who remember us, right? And get together and pour out their love and want to love us as we're cast off this mortal coil. If the crowd I saw at that restaurant yesterday was any indication, Kenny Swap was loved and adored by a ton of people. And that restaurant parking lot was full. The restaurant, you couldn't move in it. And there was a giant crowd of people that loved Kenny Swap. And Kenny, I had the pleasure and privilege of being able to work with you for just a couple of rib fests, just schlepping ribs, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and I had a great time hanging out with Kenny Swap, and my love to Corey and Coley in this time of grief. And I just want to thank them for having me out yesterday because it was great. It was great to remember Kenny in an atmosphere that was fun. It was a lot of happy memories and a hot dog bar. We had a hot dog bar and we had potato salad and all kinds of fun stuff, Jesse, yesterday.
Can I sign up for my wake to be like this? I'd like a hot dog bar at my wake. I think this sounds amazing. And
it was free booze as well. It was free booze and drinks. And so it was a good time. And
that's the way to send somebody out, that you want to remember the happy times and you want to remember them as they were and there with the food and the drink and just everybody having a great time. That's exactly how you want to go out of this world, and be remembered.
Yeah. So it was perfect. So, by all means, if you stop into Jelly Bean and Julia's this week, just send your condolences to Corey and Coley, because even though Corey was in a ton of pain yesterday, he entertained a whole restaurant full of people and kept a smile on his face, and he got through it. So, thank you, Corey and Coley. We appreciate it. All right. And I have one prayer and healing request here from our friend Raul. I'll get to that at the break. Let's get started with our show because we're running behind here. Start off with our first story here, Jesse. A missing scientist's body was found in New Mexico 11 months after she vanished. There was this whole story about what is supposedly a conspiracy, right? I'll use my air quotes. I'll use them liberally today. Melissa Casillas's body was found 1 year after she went missing. The 53-year-old scientist has been, actually the incident has been linked to the disappearances of several other prominent scientists and military officials. The mystery surrounding the disappearance of 54-year-old Melissa Casillas, an administrative assistant at the Los Alamos National Laboratory. I keep wanting to say library instead of laboratory. I did this yesterday too, because we covered this.
It's dangerous to be a librarian, huh?
I know, right? You can't be a librarian these days without disappearing. Ended in tragedy this past week when police in New Mexico confirmed that they had discovered her remains. Her body was found alongside a handgun by a member of the public in the McGaffey Ridge area of Carson National Forest, approximately 6 miles from where she had been last seen alive. As things stand, police have yet to determine the cause of death. Many questions still remain, including how long her body had been there and what exactly had happened the day she disappeared. Casillas's role at Los Alamos likely afforded her access to some secretive files. It's possible that she may have become the target of someone who had hoped to acquire sensitive information. The case has been linked to a string of disappearances and deaths concerning prominent scientists and military officials, such as U.S. Air Force General William Neal McCaslin, who has vanished without a trace back in February of this year. Now, last week we read a story about a member of Space Force who had dinner with him, said that he seemed confused as they had dinner with him the night before.
Yeah, there's so many routes that the story can take, and as this goes forward, it's just getting stranger and stranger. I was thinking about this, that perhaps some of these disappearances and then these people coming up dead, could that possibly be a smokescreen, that the people who are still missing and are yet to be found or not found yet, are they whisked away working on some other project? And these deaths are just something to muddy the waters, because most of these people have stated publicly that they have no intention to unalive themselves.
Right.
They are happy, they're healthy, everything is fine. And then suddenly they show up, dead on the ground somewhere,
Right.
under strange circumstances. So could this possibly be a smokescreen? Are they working on something so important and so under such a time constraint that they've got to get these people, they've got to get them in a lab, get them working on something before something else comes down? And are these disappearances and these deaths, are they something to kind of muddy the waters on that? Or are they also a warning to these people that if they do not play ball, that they could end up just like this young lady in the desert?
Interesting thought. I never thought of that either. I thought, the only thing to me that would be that serious is if we're actually looking at going off world, like doing missions where we're going off world and never coming back. And
Yeah.
if these people who are coming up with propulsion systems like anti-gravity, or coming up with propulsion systems that are set to take us off world and not have to refuel,
Yeah.
if they're coming up with stuff like that, and you're trying to get these people away from foreign powers that may try to copy those systems,
Yeah.
you want to make it look like those people are not around anymore so that you can copy that technology.
And so you can throw them off the trail. Now, I do have another theory that's gonna go ahead and prompt the Terminator music if you're ready.
Oh, wait. Oh, let me bring it up. Hold on. Okay. All right, go ahead.
Perhaps in the future, something that these people were working on leads to a takeover by machines. And one brave rebel has come back in time and is eliminating each of these scientists one by one to prevent the AI and robot uprising. Dun, 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 dun.
Not a bad theory. I like it. We just gotta wait till it goes dun 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 dun. Actually, my favorite part is when Kenny Omega gets in the ring and goes, and then he jumps over the top rope. But that's just me. Oh, here it comes. Did you hear the oh?
I
Okay.
can't hear it at all. No.
Can't hear it all? Oh, okay. Never mind. All right. I'll fade it down if you can't hear it. Then that's fine.
Doing my best to take my cues for it.
Okay. No. It was playing in the background. It was good. It was yeah. I got goosebumps now. Look at me. See, I do this thing. I go like this, and I go.
I like to listen to that music when I'm putting my makeup on in the morning, just so I'm prepping up. I'm getting ready,
Terminator.
I'm getting into Sarah Connor mode because I'm ready to. We're just here to save humanity, Tim
Well,
Dennis.
yeah.
We're just here to save humanity.
Well, speak for yourself. I'm here to make them go. Yeah, that's all I got. Just if I get a out of them, then I'm good. Yeah, then I go back to bed. I've got tiny goals. Yeah, they're not huge at all. That's what she said. Anyways, did that get you?
That got me.
Okay, good. All right. Our next story. ISS astronauts are taking shelter due to concerns over a worsening air leak. Why is it everything we build for space these days either blows up or doesn't work?
I think we're cutting our budgets on our space stuff, and all of our good scientists are ending up dead somewhere.
Oh my God, that's horrible. It's not, being a scientist isn't a occupation with a big life expectancy. Is that what I meant to say? Yeah. Four of the station's crew donned spacesuits and boarded a docked capsule as a precautionary measure. How would you like to be working on the space station, just doing, I don't know what they're doing, growing plants or making epoxies or whatever they're doing up there. And all of a sudden it's like, get to the shuttle. It's the only way out. I won't do a bad arm.
I tell you what, they're going to have to start sending a redneck up in with some of these missions. You can't just send all of these scientists up there without a single redneck. I think we need a redneck up there. He would pop out the duct tape. Everybody's saved. Everything's fine. Just patch it up. You're okay. But they're going to go into a panic. Nobody knows to pull out the duct tape. They probably didn't even bring duct tape.
No, a guy named Wilbur who's got a skullet who you can go up there and go, I'll fix it.
At the end of the day, it's going to be my people that save this entire place.
All right. I'll get over there and fix it. No big deal. Here.
You got to have that hillbilly engineering degree there, But honestly, it's that is one of the drawbacks of having people that they all have kind of the same background. They all have kind of the same training and the same method of thought. When you're in those situations, think about every movie you've ever seen where it's kind of an ensemble and there's a crisis. You've got people that are all kind of thinking one way, and then you've got that wild card. You gotta have that wild card on board, or you're gonna have a leak and nobody's gonna be able to fix it.
If you can fix a 1982 Ford F-150 with stuff around the mobile home, you can fix the ISS.
My point exactly.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there, Jessi. Yeah. It says here, if you happen to be an astronaut aboard the ISS, one thing you definitely don't want is that there's a leak causing precious air to vent out into space. This was the scenario facing the astronauts aboard the orbital outpost when a series of stubborn leaks in Russia's Zvezda service module suddenly worsened. The leaks had been a problem for months, but it was a sudden increase in the amount of air being lost that prompted NASA to order a precautionary safe haven procedure. This saw the 4 crew members of the Crew 12 mission don their spacesuits and enter the docked Crew Dragon spacecraft in case it became necessary to abandon the station altogether. When they did this, Russian cosmonauts attempted to repair the leaks in the Zvezda module. After work was carried out to mitigate some of the leaks, the decision was made to halt additional repairs and reassess the situation, prompting the Crew 12 astronauts to return to normal station operations. With the issue still unresolved, the efforts are now underway between NASA and its Russian counterparts to develop a more permanent situation. Duct tape, like Jessi said, duct tape, that'll do it.
Yeah. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. It's so simple. Sometimes the simplest solution is the answer to all of your problems.
If duct tape is not permanent, Gorilla glue under the duct tape, I'll get it out here. Gorilla glue under the duct tape is your permanent solution right there. Yeah. So again, take it from Jessi. You need that guy named Wilbur from down there in the holler to get up there and get that fixed. So.
Oh, that's got to be one of the worst redneck names I've ever heard somebody come up with. Wilbur.
Wilbur. Can you imagine looking at a precious little one, fresh out of the womb and going, I'm going to name him Wilbur. Yeah, that's. Oh.
We've got Ephraim. We've got Hard.
What's the name?
I have Elihu in my family. Ephraim. Elihu. My great grandfather's name is Elihu. His name's Elihu Baz. Yeah.
Where in the Bible is that one?
And I'm from Western North Carolina. I'm hillbilly. So yeah, we've got some names.
Elihu Baz. How do you spell that?
Elihu. Elihu.
All right. Elihu Baz. Is it BAS for Baz?
It's BAS. So yeah. Elihu Baz. Yeah.
Wow. That's a name.
That is.
Wow.
But he would know exactly what to do in this situation.
Yes, he would. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that in the slightest. He probably.
But they'd have to like do the break glass in case of emergency for like a bottle of corn liquor on the wall. Then he's in his flow state is what you call that.
Oh, a flow state. I was going to say that's when the red cape comes out and
Yeah, that's
there's nothing
right.
you can't fix. Yeah. Yeah. A lie who pass. Huh. Interesting. I, wow. I've never heard that name before.
And you probably won't again.
You've stopped me in my tracks. All right. I gotta get back in gear here, my friend. Wow. Huh. Okay. Our next story, alien signal detection guidelines are updated over fear of mass panic. I'm telling you, just go see Disclosure Day this weekend. You'll be all right.
Everything seems like it's a pile-on. I don't know if you chose these stories based on their, referencing a Disclosure Day, but it seems like things are kind of coming to some kind of apex here. Doesn't it seem that way?
A little bit. You'll see the flow of the speaking of the flow, we'll see the flow of the stories here and how we smooth out towards the end.
Oh, that's good.
Watch this. Yeah. Watch this. Actually, I had a very interesting conversation with a listener this weekend about story flow. We talked about that this weekend. See, I engage with my listeners.
Look at you.
Yeah.
A man of the people.
I like, yes. Look at me being all proud of my coming down off my throne to talk to my listeners.
I spoke to a commoner this week.
Oh, wow. No, that's not how I meant it. No. Just trying to figure out what people want to hear. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keeping my ear to the ground.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. If astronomers actually did pick up an extraterrestrial signal, how exactly should they break the news to everyone else? Well, for decades, SETI has been scouring the cosmos for signals that might have been sent by an intelligent extraterrestrial civilization. But if astronomers had ever actually did find that what they'd been looking for, a new issue arises. How do they inform the rest of the world without causing widespread panic, confusion, or disruption? Now, in a renewed bid to avoid such a scenario, experts have issued updated guidelines concerning the disclosure of an alien signal discovery to the general public. Most notably, the changes reflect the need to properly confirm a discovery before announcing it so that rumors do not take hold on social media over something that may turn out to be nothing. Now, first of all, okay, this is what I don't get. Now, do you think, what would be more realistic? Spaceship lands on the White House lawn. Alien sends a message through space to our telescope saying, "Hey, we're here. How you doing?"
Well, it depends on their intent. If they've come to destroy us, they're not giving us any sort of warning before they do that. But again, you are putting, human motivations onto something that's completely non-human. So I don't know what they would do. And I have a question here.
Yeah,
Why do they have to tell us anything? Why is there this need to tell the general public anything? The general public is not capable of processing basic information that we see right before our eyes, much less something that's so out of the realm of our common held reality as it is right now that I just don't see them disclosing anything,
If I came to a planet of warlord and monkey men, there's no way I'd speak up. I would come in real quiet and I'd leave real quiet, just like it's happening. I wouldn't say boo. I don't know why they think they'd communicate at all.
Yeah, I'm wondering if these are just ghost signals of, that they're getting on their equipment, if there is signals at all. I don't see any sort of warning or reaching out of any kind that would occur.
Well, I know a lot of the false positives that they're getting from space are simple RF that bounce off of, like, say, meteorites or planets or whatever. Getting a lot of false signals. That's a lot of what they're picking up. They're saying in this story that, again, there's other things to take into account, including the safety and privacy of scientists themselves, storing of sensitive data pertaining to potential detection events. They hope their researchers crying alien prematurely and yet to let the public know that they want to be as transparent and open as we can be. That's the quote from Professor Michael Garrett, the director of the Jardrell Bank Center for Astrophysics and a prominent figure in the search for alien life. He says, "I don't know if it's this year, next year, the next decade, or the next century or whatever, as far as whether they get an alien signal. But eventually someone's going to find something. And so these guidelines are really for that person or that group of scientists that suddenly find themselves confronted with this huge discovery and wondering, well, what does this mean and what are the implications? I think they're talking about finding like an alien beacon,
Right.
how we put up signal beacons, if you're lost at sea, you might put up a beacon for someone to try and find and try to find you. I
I
think,
just don't understand how this story is a story. Are these scientists that are involved in the SETI program, are they not under ironclad NDAs and,
oh
top
no,
secret, super secret lockdown? Or are they just like, they can just willy-nilly throw out whatever?
no, these are basic scientists that are
Okay.
basically out there looking for this stuff. But then the idea is once they find it, how do they alert the public that they found it? So, when you have a bunch of egghead scientists sitting around, how do they figure out, okay, we need to let somebody know that what we found here is not bouncing off a planet or it's not a random RF signal. This is actually an intelligent signal. It's making contact back and forth with us. And now we need to figure out how we tell someone that we're actually in communication with something.
Yeah.
Which, why not just tell people we're in communication with something out there? And it's, you know, we don't know
And
what it,
again, you're going to have, I think we've discussed this before, that it doesn't matter if we actually have aliens land on the White House lawn at this point. You will have so many people that are just ready to move on as quickly as possible, or who do not care because they're so wrapped up in their own worlds. You'll have people like us who are interested in that, but the majority of human beings have zero interest in that whatsoever. This seems like this seems like Mount Everest to us. This seems so monumental, and so what the implications are for humanity and for our future and for our existence as it is right now. But for the majority of the human species, they do not care.
again, I want to hear people's opinions because I think there's something very funny about the end of Disclosure Day. That's why I'm
Yeah.
so eager to talk about the ending of this movie with people.
But you gotta wait. You
Gotta wait. I
can't
hate,
spoil it for the peons there,
I
okay?
know, I hate that I can't talk to people about it, but I'll wait a couple of weeks, but because I think there's something very funny about the end of it that I can't wait to make a joke about. But, you know, it's, but there's something about, yeah, I'll leave it. But it's, we put our, we put our eyes and ears to the skies and hoping that we can put human value on something that supposedly comes from another planet and that wants to communicate with us. Okay, but we're not thinking, okay, how do they really want to communicate with us? I mean, sometimes it's as easy as, well, let's bring it back to the woods, right? In the animal kingdom.
All
When
right.
an animal wants to make contact with you, it doesn't call out in its native tongue to you. It doesn't make a, bird doesn't make a bird call necessarily and squawk at you. Sometimes it just hops up to you and looks, right?
Yeah.
It just wants to feel you out and see who you are. If it has the courage, sometimes it just looks at you from a tree to figure out who you are before it approaches. It needs to know if you're safe. And then it flies in a little closer. And then if you have food on you, well, then maybe it wants food. Food is a way of, not a bargaining chip, but
A peace offering.
it's a peace offering. Thank you, Jess. It's a bonding tool. So then once you've bonded, well, then it comes closer. And then you might get it to talk or speak or, there's protocol between the two.
Mhm.
There's steps. So why automatically would an alien be out in the middle of the universe and go, "Hey, out there"? I mean, it that's giving up a lot of safety.
But also, you can't apply what you would do or what a little bird would do to what these non-human intelligences would do. Um, we don't know what they would do. They might have been watching us the whole time. They might not care about us in the slightest. We are nothing to them. We are an ant walking across the concrete to them. We mean nothing to them. So why would they even bother to reach out?
Mhm.
But you can't assume what they would do or how they would react or what their motivations would be. maybe their reaction would be to instantly destroy us. And then poof, we get vaporized during this interview right now. You just don't know. There's no logic there. You can't apply human logic or human thought processes to this.
You say that, but yet there have been craft that have crashed and supposedly aliens that have died.
Yeah.
So in a moment of need, maybe they've needed somebody, and maybe we failed them. Maybe
That's
they don't. What's that?
We've let everybody down
Yeah, maybe they
across the
and see,
universe.
in that moment, maybe they know that we, instead of going and helping them, we've collected their bodies and held them. To them, maybe we're a threat. They know that we're a threat. They don't know how much of a threat. I mean, think of it that way.
Didn't you see what they did? They dissected Larry. My God.
Yeah, they took Larry apart. Larry, Moe, and Curly. And they're all sitting there from Roswell. And how do you come back and say hi to somebody after they took your buddies? They got them in Los Alamos or wherever the hell they're sitting.
So we messed this up a long time ago.
Oh yeah, we screwed the pooch. There's no coming back. But speaking of, there's a CIA psychic spy who's pinpointed 4 hidden alien bases he claims are operating here on Earth.
That's awesome. Great.
Yeah. So if you want to just stop on by with a casserole or something, let them know we're good. We're good. We'd appreciate that.
So where are these bases located? Do you have that information?
I don't
Or
know.
is he just saying that he knows where they are?
Well, let's find out. Lynn Buchanan is a retired Army intelligence veteran, and he told the American Alchemy podcast, by the way, you're welcome for the plug, that the installations were hidden inside remote mountains and functioned as intelligence gathering hubs, UFO repair facilities, and extraterrestrial entry points. So go look for those on your maps and your GPS. He was among the participants in a classified Cold War era psychic research effort that explored whether human consciousness could be used to gather intelligence from afar, and was tasked with keeping track of the facilities. The bases were reportedly first identified by remote viewer Pat Price in 1973, a former police officer who became one of the earliest participants in the government's psychic research programs. The locations were later revisited under the CIA's Project 8200, an effort designed to determine whether independent remote viewers could corroborate Price's extraordinary claims. Buchanan said he was tasked with monitoring sites allegedly located in Alaska's Mount Hayes, Australia's Mount Zeal, Zimbabwe's Mount Nyangani, and the Pyrenees Mountains between Spain and France. He claimed these sites serve different functions, saying the Alaska base gathered intelligence. The Australian installation operated as a UFO point of entry, or port of entry, rather. And the Zimbabwe facility functioned as a repair center for extraterrestrial craft. Buchanan further said that during one remote viewing session, the occupants of the Australian facility appeared to become aware that they were being observed, telling host Jesse Michaels, the first thing that happened was they let me know that they knew I was there and that it was okay.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess he's got it all pretty well handled then.
I guess.
Because he's got some sort of communication line there.
Yeah. So they were okay with it. They're like, hey, come on in, be a peeping Tom. We don't care. Just check us out. Yeah.
I wonder if with some of these people that are associated with some of these kind of top secret operations, when it comes to psi research or anything like that, we know that the government's been doing that. We know that remote viewing has been done. You've got John Monaco who blew the lid off of all of that. But you have this kind of stuff going on. Project MK Ultra. You have all of this definitely going on. I wonder if, and the government can't just send out John Wick assassins, everybody, and just eliminate anybody that they had working on a program, because then you're not going to have anybody sign up to work on the programs in the future, because they're going to be like, well, after I get done working for you guys, I don't get to go get on a sailboat and go around the world. I get executed somewhere, So they can't exactly just do that as standard operating procedure. But I wonder if people who are involved in these, there are recorded instances of the CIA using microwaves to implant images into people's minds or thoughts into people's minds. Could that technology be to the point where you're implanting memories and these people are just having these real wild out the box memories and then they're talking about them on public shows like this? Is this part of that smokescreen again? Is this part of that? There's so much information and there's so many things going on, and some of it is pretty wild, some of it is pretty tame, but there's truth bits in every little bit of it. There's truth bits that make their way through, that slips through the cracks, but there's a lot of misinformation that just muddies the water. And that puts everyone, whether it be the observer or somebody who's actually involved in the project, they don't know what's real and what's not. You can think about these programs where people have been taken to facilities and shown these things. Was that real? Is any of it real? And then they don't know what's real themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Good point. As far as the remote viewing sessions go, it says here that they're part of the Stargate program, not necessarily a Ultra, but the Stargate program, part of the CIA's top secret program.
Yeah, it's Project Stargate they said that they quit doing Project Stargate for a long time, but they continued on with their experiments. I think we know that. John Monagle talked about that. He was one of the main people involved in Project Stargate.
The program began in the early 70s, officially shut down in 1995. The first site mentioned by Buchanan, located inside Alaska's Mount Hayes, was described as a surveillance facility focused on monitoring activity across the Earth. When asked what the installation was used for, Buchanan replied, keeping intelligence on the Earth, just collecting data and signals and all that. He claimed early remote viewers had reported finding both humans and extraterrestrials operating within the mountain. Price and Joe McMoneagle, as you had mentioned, had found aliens and humans working side by side as a sort of intelligence gathering place, Buchanan said. However, when the latter viewed the site himself, Buchanan claimed the operation had changed. I did Mount Hayes and found that the equipment was now automated and still running, and there was no need for personnel there. Buchanan said the facility was hidden deep within the mountain and would be nearly impossible for ordinary people to locate. Mount Hayes has long been the subject of UFO sightings and theories about a hidden underground alien base. Numerous witnesses have reported seeing flying saucers, strange lights, and other unexplained phenomena in the area. The second site, by the way, located at Mount Zeil in Australia's Northern Territory, was described as something entirely different. Rather than functioning as an intelligence center, Buchanan claimed it was served as a transportation hub for extraterrestrials. Mount Zeil is a sort of port of entry to the Earth that friendly ones go there, and from there they spread out around the world. He compared the facility to an airport where craft arrived, passengers disembarked, and maintenance crews serviced the vehicles. According to his account, the installation consisted of multiple levels. One level allegedly served as a docking area where UFOs arrived and departed, while a lower level was dedicated to maintenance and support operations. He added that the lower level handled maintenance duties for the craft. One of the most unusual claims involved what Buchanan said happened while remotely observing the site. Again, he said he was watched, and in the area where the travelers go in and out, he said he saw a gray female with a baby gray.
Baby gray. I was, so while you're talking about this, you didn't mention to me, prior to me babbling about McMoneagle and everything, you didn't mention to me that this was a remote viewing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you did or did you? And
yeah.
I just brought up remote viewing before you got to that point of the story.
No, yeah. I mentioned that this guy.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Because I was like, wait, did I just assume that this was remote viewing or okay.
No. Yeah. I mentioned that he had remote viewed all these places.
Okay. All right. I was like, wait, why did I go into remote viewing about this?
No,
all right.
Yeah. I mentioned he had remote viewed these places.
Okay.
The third location is said to be inside Mount Nyangani in Zimbabwe. Unlike the Alaska and Australia sites, Buchanan described the facility as a repair center. When asked what was being repaired there, he answered for ETs, for UFOs. Buchanan also stated that the site was heavily guarded. Despite discussing reports of disappearances in the area, he speculated that people who stumbled across sensitive information could face severe consequences. You see too much, you disappear, he said. That's a little creepy.
Yeah.
But that's a lot like Area 51. You go too far in, you're done, right?
But I think that a lot of people who get involved in these programs, they know that if they go too far and then they say too much, then there are consequences for that.
Yeah.
Because this is some really, really earth-shattering stuff that could have major ramifications.
Yeah. The fourth site was reportedly located in the Pyrenees Mountains between Spain and France. However, Buchanan admitted he had not personally investigated that location. He said, I never did the one that was in the Pyrenees, so I'm not sure about it. Despite the extraordinary nature of the claims, Buchanan maintained that multiple remote viewers independently arrived at similar descriptions of that location, or of the locations in general. I'm sorry. See, I did all these blind, he said, explaining that he was not told what the targets were beforehand. He added that the sketches he produced during his sessions closely matched those created years earlier by Price, which he viewed as confirmation that the alleged installations were real.
I wonder if there's been any like physical investigation into this to confirm or deny if this is actually a thing.
Well, one of them he said was impossible to reach, and that was it Mount Hayes? Mount Hayes
Okay.
was impossible to get to, and he said it was automated by now, so you wouldn't actually find humans and aliens side by side.
Interesting.
Yeah. So interesting story. Another one that's interesting. Okay, so over the last few weeks, we've had the debate by not only certain demonologists, but also by our government, certain members of our government, that maybe aliens aren't exactly what they seem. In other words, that they may be demons. Well, an exorcist came forward this past week and said UFOs are demons. It got him not only slapped on the wrist, it got him removed.
Well, the Catholic Church has a very, very high standard for their the people that they basically certify as exorcists. And if you're coming out and you're involving yourself in you're have that high level, and then you're involving yourself in something like the UFO question, that's obviously going to be an issue within the church.
Now, I know the Pope was being a little, both the current Pope and the Pope before were being a little tongue in cheek when they said, should an alien want to be baptized, we'd be glad to do so. But the idea there is kind of a double entendre type of trap.
Yeah.
Right? Come on
it's
in.
It's more of a we'll take anybody. If anybody is interested in coming to the church, we'll take anybody. We'll baptize them if they come by.
That's on the surface. Okay, so it's kind of a double entendre trap there, right? So it's kind of one of these things where they say, okay, well, you can cross the threshold of the church. One, if you can get through that, then you can come and either be baptized, which involves us seeing if you'll accept Christ. That's the second trap. The third trap is allow us to try and put holy water on you. If you survive that, you've proven you're not a demon.
You've subjected yourself to the 3 tests.
There you go.
There you go.
It's a complex test to them to see if you truly are just another offshoot of humanity to them.
So was there any statement made by the church about what the purpose of basically slapping down this exorcist was? Like, what was the purpose of that? Yeah. What was the reason for that?
Well, the unusual move was confirmed this week in comments by the Catholic Archbishop of Washington, D.C. Authority figures in the United States interpreting UFOs as spiritual or even demonic in nature has become something of a phenomenon unto itself in recent months. Political figures such as Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, and even Vice President J.D. Vance have all made comments linking UFOs to biblical entities. Now it turns out is not only politicians that have made the connection. This week, Cardinal Robert McElroy, the Catholic Archbishop of Washington, D.C., announced that the Archdiocese would be severing ties with a Washington-based nonprofit headed up by Monsignor Stephen Rossetti because he had been linking UFOs to demonic presence and because the center's recent use of social media gravely undermines the church's very precise teaching on the devil, demons, and exorcism. Rossetti doesn't discount belief in alien life, though remains skeptical of it himself. Demons like to hide, he said recently. They don't want us to know what they're doing because they're more effective when we don't realize it. They can kind of get into your head, and manipulate things in the world to influence us to do evil. It's my personal belief that that probably many, if not most, of these UFO sightings are in fact demons, is what Rossetti went on to say. Exactly how widespread beliefs of this nature are actually in the US right now remains unclear. Now, I can see where the belief is and where the belief lies and why it would lay there, right?
Right.
There's a thin line between how a UFO or an alien acts and how a demon acts, and they're very similar. They're very similar behaviors. So it's not a huge aspersion to cast to say that it could.
It's not a great leap because there are parallels between these two entities as we may interpret them or know them.
Right. But until you have the experience that says, I believe I ran into this, you can't necessarily say it is.
Yeah, you can't really take a hard stance on anything or make any sort of issuance of a stance. And I think that that's probably what's got the church up in arms about it, is that he's coming from this. He is somebody who's well respected, who deals with demonic possession, who has experience with demonic possession. And the levels that you have to go through to actually even see an exorcist is incredible. So he has some air of authority there because of that. And for him to equate what is a demon and what is not a demon and equate demons to UFOs or extraterrestrials, that is a pretty hard stance that he could be taking because of his position within the church.
Now, with that being said, I will tell you our friend Nathaniel Gillis, who's a demonologist who was possessed when he was younger by something that looked like an alien,
Mm-hmm.
and behaved like an alien. I completely believe his story. And he said these things function higher than most base aliens. The thing that came after him was able to get through most religious symbols. And the only way it could be defeated was through using iron.
Which
So,
also goes back to Fey lore as well. So you could tie
yeah,
in the Fey to this as well as, and I always go back to Jacques Vallée, that he says that these are all one and the same. It's just it wears a different mask based on who it's presenting itself to. There is that one line in the Mothman prophecies: "What do you look like?" And the response is, "It depends on who's looking." That it presents itself to you in the way that it knows that you will interpret it how you want to interpret it.
yeah, yeah. Next story, a mysterious black project aircraft is spotted in the skies over Area 51. An image of what's been rumored to have previously been an unknown fighter jet over Area 51 has been doing the rounds online. There are a few places on Earth as notoriously secretive as Area 51. Its reputation may be well earned, as evidenced by the recent online circulation of an image allegedly showing an unidentified prototype aircraft that was spotted over the base. The image first appeared on June 3rd, courtesy of the Project Fear YouTube channel, before being shared all over social media. While it's easy to dismiss the image as a hoax, several analysts seem to believe that it may in fact be the real deal and that the aircraft may be a genuine black project. More specifically, it could be the F-47, or the U.S. Air Force sixth-generation fighter jet. The channel has since published a full video with a lot more details about the sighting. I tell you what, I'll post it in the description of this program so you can watch the video itself. I'll show you here, Jessi, real quick, what they're posting right there. That's a shot of what it looks like.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
So that does look like what may be an F-47, and Area 51 has been
Yeah.
repurposed, for lack of a better term. A few months ago, they had a big cadre of generals that came in.
Yeah, we discussed that on the last show that I was on, that they had a huge cadre of generals come through to tours. And I suggested that they imploded the inside because they were
Yeah,
just covering up and leaving it behind. But obviously there's still some activity going on at Area 51.
Yeah, and there's been a few aircraft that have flown out of there, and I think they're test aircraft. So I think they've repurposed Area 51 as a major aircraft uh, testing site. So
Yeah, Project Fear is actually they do ghost investigations.
mhm.
They had a show on Discovery Channel that was once produced by Zach Bagans, and they fell out with him and started their own YouTube channel after their series got canceled. But they do their own YouTube channel where they do ghost investigations. So it's kind of interesting. I know that most of the guys involved in that are residents of the Las Vegas area, so they do stuff out there in that area all the time.
Well, actually, two of them live here in Minnesota because
Okay.
yeah, I've flown back on the plane with them from paranormal conventions. Yeah.
Very
So
nice.
yeah, yeah. Actually, unless they've all moved out to Vegas now.
I think two of the guys live in Vegas. I think the sister of the main guy, Dakota's the main guy. I think him and his sister are from Minnesota.
Yeah, yeah. Dakota,
Yeah.
I've flown back with Dakota a few times. So yeah. But I don't know if Dakota moved permanently or not.
I don't think anybody like really moves permanently to Vegas. I
Okay.
think they just kind of moonlight as Vegas
Have,
people.
have a little fun out there. Yeah. Yeah. I don't blame them. If I were young and free, I'd go live in Vegas too. Actually, I'd pick the wrong places to live when I was young and free. Iowa's not a place to live if you're young and free.
No, you've got a little got a little Ed Gein on that one. No, you gotta be wild and crazy. So you're wild oats. When I
Yeah.
turned 18, I moved to New Orleans. So
Oh, there you go.
I went all in.
Yeah, boy, you did. Yeah, I wish I would have went there. Yeah, there's certain places to go to work radio, and there's other places not to go to work radio. I went to the place not to go to work radio. Yeah,
Yeah, radio requires some early mornings, doesn't it?
or late nights.
Or late nights,
I
yeah.
worked overnights for a while, and I worked early mornings, and I did work some early mornings. I did morning shows for a long time, and
Yeah.
yeah. As a matter of fact, I got to work an early morning this Saturday. I got to be up at, and you know what? I actually got approached to do Friday mornings for this summer, which would allow me to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, to go.
That's what a lot of people are going to bed, especially if you're wild boying,
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'd have to drive an hour to go up to St. Cloud, but yeah, but I'd have to get on. I'd have to be on air by 5, which means I have to be up there to prep by 4, which means I have to wake up at 2.
This is why you did not have a wild 20s youth.
Yeah, yeah. It's you suffer for your art, right?
It's non-conducive to that for sure.
Oh, but the life
Unless they let you have like a bottle of Rumble Mints right there in the studio just to kind of get
no,
yourself back together.
no. It's generally you drink until you go in. Actually, you know
Yeah.
what? I had a program director who's no longer with us. He's passed away, but what he would do in order to haze you is he would take you out to the bar. So what would happen is he would say, "Oh, come be my color commentator for the baseball game," because we cover sports on our station.
I'll give you some color there.
Exactly, that's what it would be. So he'd take you out to the bar, his favorite bar, which was also a bar that his friend owned in Pleasantville. It was called the Peaville Pub. So he'd take you there and he'd say, "I'll drive." So you didn't have a choice. You couldn't drive back to the
Yeah.
station and get to your vehicle. So he would keep you out all night until about an hour before your morning shift. And then he would drive and he'd buy the drinks, of course. You didn't have to pay for anything. But he'd
And
get
then you're there trying to impress your boss. You're
Yep,
like, I can't leave because this is part of my career. So this is a hostage situation.
it is. He'd get you good and schnockered, and then he'd drop you off an hour before your shift, and he'd say, "Have a great morning," and then
Oh
he'd go
God.
to bed because he didn't have to be back until the afternoon. So he'd go home and sleep it off, and you'd walk in and be, "How dry."
What a sadist.
Yeah, but you know what? That's how you acclimate, and that's how you fit in radio. So
That's how you get in it.
that's a good old fashioned radio hazing. So that's how you get through it, Jess. Right?
Yeah.
There you
I've
go.
had some mornings like that. Listen, we've all been through that. We got through that.
Yeah, yeah,
You're
absolutely.
stronger for it in the end.
That's right. Plus, you learn how to read when you're half in the bag and get through a morning shift. It's a colorful shift, I'll tell you that, but you get through it.
Definitely got to get those color commentary in.
That's right. A couple more before we go to break here. Actually, I think just maybe one or two. Oh, Yeah, maybe one or two. NASA's Maven spacecraft, which was supposed to go to Mars, is officially dead due to mystery fault. The iconic Mars spacecraft has ended its mission after more than 11 years in orbit around the red planet. We kind of alluded to this that craft was dying. It's now officially dead. It launched back in 2013 before arriving in orbit around Mars in 2014. Maven, which is the Mars Atmosphere and Volatile Evolution, was the first spacecraft ever dedicated to studying the planet's atmosphere. NASA last heard from the probe on December 6th of last year, just before it passed behind Mars. After that, it went silent and nobody was able to reestablish contact with it since. A NASA review board convened back in February, ultimately determined that it was no longer possible to recover the spacecraft and that it was now incapable of carrying out its mission. Just before Maven had gone behind Mars, it had indicated normal functionality, but when it reemerged, a brief signal indicated that it was in safe mode and in an anomalous orbital trajectory. The conclusion reached by the board was that the spacecraft's batteries had drained, meaning that it was now impossible to power it back up and recover control. So that spacecraft is dead.
R.I.P. Maven.
That's right. Thanks for serving. A space telescope has detected methane on 3I Atlas. So now this thing's alive again, supposedly, in the news. The object, which became the object of intense study and debate last year, is still throwing up some surprises. Most of the intrigue surprises surrounding 3I Atlas came courtesy of a vocal minority, including Harvard's Professor Avi Loeb, who believed that there was a reasonable chance that 3I Atlas could in fact be an officially constructed or artificially constructed object controlled by an advanced extraterrestrial civilization. It's just a meteor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so they found some methane on this thing. So now they think, by the way, it's still just a meteor.
It could be covered in cows. It could be piloted by cows. Oh my God.
Yes. Extraterrestrial cows, Jessi.
That's what we're waiting on. And they're seeking revenge upon us.
That's right. They'll fly this thing back and they'll get us all for eating all that beef. That delicious, delicious beef. Using the James Webb Space Telescope, MIRI, or Mid-Infrared Instrument, astronomers discovered some methane gas, something that hadn't been detected during earlier observations. It's from all those cows farting on the spaceship. Just saying. This suggests that the methane was likely trapped beneath the object's surface and then exposed when the upper layers heated up during its closest approach to the sun. NASA also revealed the amount of methane relative to water that was surprisingly high, and that 3I Atlas is also unusually rich in carbon dioxide. What does that mean? Well, the alien cows are breathing too heavy and farting. So there's your story there.
We were hearing nothing but 3I Atlas stuff forever there. That was the hot conspiracy for about 3 or 4 weeks there. And that everybody, even just normies who weren't even talking about anything to do with extraterrestrials or contact or anything, even then were like, have you heard about this 3I Atlas? It's coming. It's a spaceship. It's coming for us. And then all of a sudden it just completely fell off.
Avi Loeb tried to resuscitate that patient for weeks and weeks and weeks. And
yeah.
No, that's why it's a spaceship, even as it had rounded the sun and went out of our solar system and it didn't fly to Earth and kidnap us or anything like that. He was like, come back, Shane, and trying to get it to come back. And nope, it was just a meteor.
Yeah. And grab some cows, obviously. So yeah, that's what happened. Tractor beam. Pew.
That's right. And finally, I say all that to say this. Again, we mentioned Disclosure Day opens this weekend. And Spielberg has said that the deep state has nothing to do with the movie.
We investigated ourselves and found no wrongdoing.
That's right. The legendary director has played down conspiracy theories concerning the influences behind the movie, by the way, which opens June 12th. For months, the movie has been at the center of multiple conspiracy theories, some concerning the idea that it actually features real-life extraterrestrial vehicles, and others implying that the whole thing is intended as an official announcement about the existence of alien life. There are some who subscribe to the belief that Spielberg himself was either aided or influenced by shadowy deep state forces when he put the movie together. Speaking on the Rewatchables podcast recently, the iconic director responded to those rumors. The biggest urban legend that is occurring right now involves my movie coming out, Disclosure Day, that somehow I've made this movie in concert with deep state factions, he said. Some believe my movie is somehow going to make it easier for people to accept the fact that we have been actively interacting in secret with extraterrestrials for the past 8 to 9 decades. Am I starting to believe that? Yes, I am. However, I made this movie independent of any influence except what I know and what I've been following for the last 7 decades. Think about that sentence for a second. What I know and what
I've been following
for the last 7 decades.
Listen, he just knows everything that we know, and you guys are just being just meanie pants by suggesting that he has some sort of inside information.
He does. Because he just said it. What I know and what I've been following for the last.
And also, I mean, to say that he does not have some sort of inside information is absolutely crazy. This is the biggest director in the world that has endless resources when it comes to this, and he has the opportunity to put this message out there. Every film has some sort of message, obviously, within the plot and everything. Are we being led to believe that he was not influenced by someone? Even let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say it was unknowingly influenced by somebody, and given these little bits and pieces, he had to have inside information that he used to put all of this together.
Jesse, you can't see the end of this movie and tell me he has not sat in on government meetings, does not know anything.
I don't know anything. I came up with all of this. It's just my genius brain.
Yeah, you can't tell me. You can't tell me he hasn't seen all of these videos, all of these things that are going to be released to us. You can't tell me he hasn't seen them.
He knows a guy. He's got a guy.
He knows a guy on the inside.
He's got a guy.
According to reports, early screenings have garnered favorable reviews, and it looks like Spielberg might have another hit on his hands. I'll tell you this much. Again, like I just told Jesse, go see it. You'll see for yourself.
This Friday.
And with that, we'll take our break. When we come back, plenty in the hopper. We'll talk plenty about ghosts. We'll also talk about an AI Ozzy Osbourne hologram that can chat to fans. Would you talk to an Ozzy from beyond the grave? It's an interesting conversation. We'll also talk about the 7 eerie signs that researchers claim could prove a loved one is trying to contact you from the afterlife. We'll find out if you've had any of those 7 signs. We'll also talk about the fact that 1 of 4 Americans claim that they've had a near-death experience. That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a huge amount of people. So let's shift gears to ghosts and NDEs.
That's right. We'll do that when we come back. And also, why are people coming out of the New York City sewers?
Mole people. Next up on Darkness Radio.
That's right. Mole people. And then also Italian teenagers discover an 1800-year-old Roman luxury house underneath their high school gym. There's that story, much, much more. We'll come back in just a bit and we'll discuss all of that. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about our sponsor, Jelly Bean and Julia's, this week and the specials that are going on there. Of course, your specials for today and for tomorrow include happy hour, 25% off all appetizers, including an appetizer sampler, excluding your appetizer sampler, half price single pour well drinks, half price Mick Golden Light, and half price Coors Light taps, and half price domestic cans and bottles. Friday, of course, the smoked prime rib dinner every Friday night. That wonderful, delicious smoked prime rib, folks. It's smoked for 12 to 14 hours in that walk-in smoker that Corey has over there. Oh, that thing is huge. It's a huge smoker. In fact, I walked through that smoker the other day. You get the Boston baked potato. You get the Texas toast. You get the tequila berry salad with that sweet and tangy dressing, the bacon bits, and the croutons, and much, much more. You get either a 14 or 16 ounce cut of meat. And again, they start serving that at 4:30. Get there early, folks, because they serve it until it runs out. It will run out. It runs out. I don't want to give you a time because then you're going to think you can, slack off until 7, 8 o'clock at night. You can't. It runs out early. So again, they start serving it at 4:30. Get there as early as you can. It's one of the top 5 meals you're having in your life. Friday night, smoked prime rib. And then Sunday, of course, breakfast on Sunday only. You've got chicken and waffles and much, much more. Brisket. There's lots of great stuff over there for breakfast on Sunday at Jelly Bean and Julia's. JellyBeanandJulia's.com in Coon Rapids. Jelly Bean and Julia's. When you go there, they'll treat you just like family. Jelly Bean and Julia's. Check out the link in the description. All right, when we come back, ghosts, NDEs. We'll talk people under the street in New York City.
Mole people,
and some kids find a house. Actually, they find a Roman house, a house under Roman something or another. I don't know. Roman remains, something like that.
My luxury villa.
They find an Olive Garden under their house. I have no idea. It's all coming up next, right here on Supernatural News and Parashare with Jessi Doyle, right here on Darkness Radio.
Here we go.
Welcome back to the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio on a Wednesday. Tim Dennis, Jessi Doyle. Jessi, guess what? It's that time again. Are you ready? Are you ready for the music?
I'm always ready for the music.
You already had me unveil it once before, and we didn't even talk about anything AI, but here we go. Here's the music. There it is. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know why I went Cookie Monster on it, but I did. Dun, 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 cookie.
AI going to kill us all.
AI going to kill us all. Boy, I haven't broke that one out for a while. First AI story today. OpenAI's internal AI model just solved an 80-year-old math problem, and it didn't need any nerds to do it. Mathematics.
They're taking our nerds' jobs.
That's right. Our nerds don't have a job. First, they don't have any women. Now they don't have any jobs. Way to go, guys. The closest the field has come to solving the planar unit distance problem, first proposed in the 1940s, was in 1984. Now, OpenAI claims an internal model has cracked the puzzle. An AI model has solved an 80-year-old math problem in a feat hailed as a major milestone for AI's mathematical ability. Yay! Nerds unite and have a nerdgasm. The planar unit distance problem was posed by Hungarian mathematician Paul Erdos in 1946. He quickly stopped getting laid afterwards. It asks a seemingly simple question. What is the maximum number of pairs of points that exist 1 unit apart on a 2-dimensional plane? Quickly, Jessi, how many?
14 pairs.
Oh, are you right? Let's see. Erdos claimed this number would rise slightly faster than the number of dots.
I'm thinking about pears. I'm thinking about fruit. So now I'm on a fruit instead of pears. Pears.
Oh, pears. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Boy, somebody skipped lunch.
1 bushel is the answer.
1 bushel. Okay.
1 bushel.
Okay. The most accurate human upper bound to the problem was first set in 1984, but last week OpenAI announced in a blog post that an internal AI model had solved the problem, finding a group of arrangements that broke past the limits set by Erdos. Perhaps most importantly, the AI lab claimed that the general purpose reasoning model it used wasn't specifically trained for the problem or even in mathematics at all. Great. So a dumb AI solved this entire thing. Stupid Skippy, the supercomputer, said, I got it. You can sit down now. I got this. Folks. The proof is an important milestone for the math and AI communities. It marks the first time that a prominent open problem central to the subfield of mathematics has been solved autonomously by AI, company representatives wrote in a post. I'm trying to get to what the answer to this problem is. See if I can find it here in the article.
Maybe you should ask AI what the answer is.
I could pull up ChatGPT and see if it'll find it for me.
See, there you go. See, now you're knocking. Now you're going to be out of a job because of AI.
Yeah, yeah. It'll probably bust my phone if I try to put it in. Does it say what the answer to the problem is? I don't think it does because it would break the article.
It's irrelevant.
It is irrelevant, right? I mean, if you really want the answer to that, then go ahead. You put it in your phone and you break your phone.
One bushel is the answer, and I stand by it. So we're going to
That's
settle
right.
on one bushel of pears.
A bushel and a peck. That's what Jessi says. All right. Meanwhile, well, kids, if you thought it was the end for the Blizzard of Oz when he kicked the mortal coil, guess what? He's back. And he's back in AI form. Here we go again.
I mean, we have holograms of Tupac. I don't see why we can't have an AI Ozzy Osbourne.
That whole hologram of Tupac thing I thought fell through. Like they didn't take it on tour. They didn't take it on tour.
Well, I don't know about the tour, but they utilized it at least once, and then once is enough for me.
That's true. They did utilize it once. By the way, I'll follow up this story with an interesting quote from Jack Osbourne because he got really pissed off at people when people kind of backlash this story.
Oh, I'm sure he did. Well, his mother, Sharon, Ozzy's wife, she had a statement about it. People always accuse her of of doing some kind of money grab. They're very wealthy. She doesn't have to do any kind of money grab. I think she's pretty much set for life. She's not looking for another couple of pennies here and there. I think the whole purpose of it was to carry on Ozzy's presence in the world. I think she mentioned that Ozzy would ask her, how long will people remember me? And he was always concerned about his legacy and people remembering him and what he did. And this is just a vehicle for that to happen. It's a vehicle for people to still kind of interact with Ozzy and have that Ozzy humor. And this allows him to live on a little further.
Yeah, exactly. Ozzy Osbourne's been brought back to life as an AI hologram that can chat to you, the fans. She revealed the Prince of Dark. She revealed the Prince of Darkness will live on as an avatar that rock and roll fans can chat with in both the UK and America from the summer. Sharon's now 73 years old, and the Osbourne clan has been working with tech people and tech experts to create the amazing holographic version of Tragic Ozzy that not Tragic Ozzy. That's not a character.
We don't want Tragic Ozzy. We want Fun Ozzy.
Right. We want Fun Ozzy, not I'm so tragic. No. That uses artificial intelligence to listen to fans and reply as the rocker would have. She and the tech chiefs are behind the amazing avatar, said they hope to bring a true god of rock back to the world to connect to fans. Heavy metal star Ozzy died last summer at age 76, just weeks after his final performance in Birmingham with Black Sabbath. He'll live on, Sharon said during a talk with the enduring legacy of rock icon and his family, Ozzy Osbourne and the Osbournes, on the licensed global main stage at Licensing Expo. She confirmed that Digital Ozzy, which is what is being called, is already deep in development through a partnership between firms Hyperreal and Photo Hologram. Hyperreal is a company that is behind a patented digital DNA process and is building Ozzy's authenticated avatar, while Photo will power the holographic presence and allow the virtual Ozzy to appear, move, and speak in real time to fans. Together, the companies say the technology will enable the avatar to hold conversations with music lovers and respond exactly as Ozzy would.
What a brave new world we're in. I would I wish you could select which Ozzy you want. You've got the Ozzy from the reality TV show, The Osbournes. I would like the era of Ozzy from Motley Crue's The Dirt. I don't know if you read that book or you saw that film, but I would like that Ozzy where he's like snorting ants off the sidewalk. That's the Ozzy that I want to love and remember.
Darling, I'm so old. I saw him in 1985. I want that one that I saw in concert.
Yeah, that's the one
Uh,
I'm looking for.
yeah, that's I was at the Ultimate Sin tour. I want that. I want that Ozzy. That one that was coked and drunk out of his mind and probably pissing himself on stage while sitting on a throne.
It's like select your Aussie, like select your fighter.
Yes, select your fighter, select your Ozzy. Digital Ozzy is set to appear in Proto Luma holographic units in both the UK and US beginning in late summer. You don't have long to wait. They can construct this stuff so quickly now.
Oh, absolutely. Well, this has probably been in the works for a while. They probably had the technology already ready to go. They just had to plug in everything that he would do. And I'm sure his family is there for the entire process, because they have to kind of build a personality profile so that whatever you ask this AI or whatever you discuss with this AI, you have the most authentic answer or discussion that you could possibly have. So I'm sure his family was deeply involved in the development of that personality profile.
Yeah. I mean, when Jack Osborne was cornered about it and people said, well, don't you feel like this is an affront to your father's memory? He basically told people to fuck off. That was,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, he was pissed that somebody would even suggest that it was sacrilegious to bring Ozzy back from the grave in AI.
And let's get some perspective here. He was a rock star. He was a character. He was a jokester. How is it an affront to somebody's memory? He wasn't Mother Teresa. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not he he wasn't this like holy figure. He had fun. He was a character, you know. I think that this is kind of a fun thing to do that he would think is pretty cool.
Yeah, oh yeah, I think he'd get a kick out of it. So yeah, it's not there's nothing sacrilegious to it. I don't think in the slightest. I think he'd have fun with it. I think he'd think it was downright creepy at first, but yeah, but I think he'd have fun with it. It creepy in kind of a funny way, you know, like a whoa, you know.
He'd be like, why didn't they invent this before I got too old and I could have just retired at the gate?
Right, right, yeah. I could make some money off of it and sit home. Like, yeah. Speaking of, told you earlier there was a story there about 7 eerie signs that researchers claim could prove a loved one was trying to contact you from the afterlife. What if Ozzy saw this and went, I don't like it? Uh,
No.
no, shut it down. Here's 7 signs that maybe Ozzy doesn't like what he likes from the other side. A certain song, a familiar smell, a flickering light bulb. These are just some of the eerie experiences grieving relatives claim is a sign from their dead loved one trying to contact them. Researchers Billy and Judy Guggenheim studied a concept of afterlife communication and interviewed over 2,000 people, discovering a string of strange occurrences that take place when someone believes that they've been directly contacted by a familiar spirit. The common signs include suddenly smelling familiar scents, vivid dreams involving the family member, uh, electronics acting strangely, and animals' behavior changing without warning. The Guggenheims, a pair of independent researchers who conducted their interviews in the 1980s and 90s, added that many of these encounters also featured finding coins in odd places, familiar songs playing at specific moments, and actual sensations of touch by a ghostly presence. The researchers said it's estimated that 60 to 120 million Americans, or 20 to 40% of the population of the U.S., have had one or more ADC experiences, or after death communication experiences. According to the research, these incidents often take place during moments of stress, on anniversaries of when the grieving person may have been seeking support. Since scientists have not been able to prove the afterlife exists to this point, skeptics and fellow researchers have contended that these events were grief-related hallucinations or coincidences rather than contact with a loved one. In fact, a 2020 study published in Schizophrenia Bulletin reviewed many years of research and found that sensory experiences people claim was caused by a deceased loved one happened to 30 to 60% of grieving relatives. That's what this particular study had claimed. The researchers described these experiences as a normal psychological reaction to loss rather than signals of mental illness or proof of afterlife contact, often calling them bereavement hallucinations or sensory experiences of the deceased. While many people find these moments comforting, the European team behind the research emphasized that the signs were merely generated by the grieving mind as a natural part of mourning and not a spiritual connection. However, near-death experiencers have also continued to recount their alleged journeys into the afterlife and have repeatedly noted meeting their deceased loved ones waiting for them in another realm. Landon Dennis, who is a 37-year-old from Utah, recently shared his near-death experience in which he claimed to have met the spirits of his grandfather and niece in the afterlife while dying from a traumatic head injury in 2022. He said he was able to telepathically recognize his grandfather's presence, emerging from bright lights that rose up in this realm, he said. Meanwhile, he saw a purplish light that he immediately recognized as the spirit of his niece, whose favorite color was purple. Dennis told the Mirror, the one thing I can tell you is that I know for sure that there is life after death. What we do matters. If you're missing a family member, you will see them again. The brain surgery survivor's story was similar to more than 3,300 firsthand accounts the Guggenheims collected from people who believe that they were contacted by a loved one who died. Prior to Bill Guggenheim's death in 2023, the researchers revealed in a statement the purpose of these visits, contacts, and signs by those who have left their physical bodies is to offer comfort, reassurance, and hope to parents, spouses, siblings, children, and grandchildren, and other family members and friends. They want you to know that they're still alive and that you'll be reunited with them when it's your turn to leave your lifetime on Earth. They want to reassure you that they'll be there for you and meet you and greet you, and perhaps even to assist you as you make your own transition. They added on their website detailing the research into ADC. The messages people experiencing these encounters most often receive from the spirit of the dead loved one include, "I'm okay, I love you, don't worry about me, and goodbye." One of the most common of the 7 signs suggested a loved one is communicating from the afterlife was a grieving relative encountering a scent connected to that person with no explanation, such as perfume, aftershave, or favorite food. Witnesses have described this as a scent appearing out of nowhere with no source in the room, lasting just a few seconds and then disappearing, but leaving them comforted by the event. Another one, a vivid dream of a deceased loved one. The Guggenheims revealed that the dreamers said that their relative looked healthy and happy, often giving them a hug or delivering them a message, but about their comfort in the afterlife. People experienced the loved one looking healthy and happy, delivering a comforting message or hug, waking up feeling peaceful and rested, with the dream staying clear in their mind, unlike normal dreams that quickly fade. These are much more vivid, intense, colorful, and real than ordinary dreams. They are extremely common. These are also called visitation dreams, the researchers explained. Another common phenomena after someone had died is electronics behaving strangely, including lights, TV, radios, or phones malfunctioning. When a person starts to think about their particular loved one. Common instances include lamps flickering, a radio suddenly playing songs, or the TV turning on all by itself at a meaningful time, making the moment feel too perfect to be random. The Guggenheims also concluded that ghosts of loved ones have a physical impact on the living, disturbing animals who appear to be more sensitive to the inspected wavelength of the spirit realm. Some firsthand accounts involved the person's dog staring at an empty spot, wagging its tail at nothing. Another physical manifestation of a ghost's presence was coins appearing in places that had no business being, especially dimes suddenly appearing without explanations, even in areas that had just been cleared. Okay, so here's a funny thing, Jessi. Now that pennies are rare, you can't get pennies from heaven, right?
Right. No apportation of pennies for this.
Right, because now it'd be like, what, a couple $100 from heaven, because pennies are pretty rare.
Very rare.
You got to look for everywhere.
Through the course of humanity, this has been a question that has plagued us. What happens to us after we die? The establishment of religion around this. This has been the eternal question, and we don't have an answer for that. So there's no way that we can kind of quantify if these experiences people are having, are they communication from their loved ones, or are they coincidences? Are they the grieving mind looking to find meaning in other innocuous things that just would happen otherwise? You don't know, but there's so many instances of this. You have to stop and look at it and say, okay, some of these absolutely could be coincidences that people are just trying to find meaning in. But when there's so many instances of this happening and it's so consistent with how it happens, you have to wonder, is there something to this? Is there some level of communication? When I was looking at this, I was instantly reminded of Harry Houdini. And when he died, he made an agreement with his wife, Bess, that if they were one of them, whoever died first, was going to try to contact the other one. And they had a secret 10-word code that they would send out to each other. Houdini was famous for debunking spiritualists at the time because he found them exploitative of people's grief. And he never got that code from his wife. But this instantly reminded me of that. And I think that a lot of people kind of followed in those footsteps, that if you have someone that you're very close with and they're going to die, you have sort of a code. Do something that way I know it's you reaching out to me and you speaking to me in some way or another. And believe it or not, a lot of times that message does make it through. And we can't know exactly what's happening, what's real, what's just a coincidence or not, but you have to think that there is some sort of connection with our loved ones beyond this life that we have here. And whether that be an energetic connection and then it sort of manifests in a way that it's a physical connection, that's pretty amazing to think about. And I think this is something that if we could continue to study and look into and kind of carry that work on, and do it in more of a scientific way, with a little bit of more like barriers into it and like a system to it, then maybe we can come up with some kind of answer. Maybe we can make that connection and really start to solve that great mystery that has plagued humanity since the beginning of time, of what happens after we die. Are we gone forever? Are we just disappeared? Are we just dust in the wind? Or does our energy live on? And do we live on as this entity where we're connected to our loved ones and people who cared about us?
The other part of that too, and we talked about this earlier about messages, right? When we were talking about aliens and what type of message are we looking to receive? I'm going to tie that now to dead loved ones, because people walk around being overly skeptical, almost cynical about what type of message are we getting, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you sit down in front of a psychic and you say, well, I'm looking for a message from my grandmother, or I'm looking for a message from my father, and I told him he had to give me a certain keyword, so I'm looking for this keyword from you in order to prove that he's there. Well,
Yeah.
let's say it's apples, right? And she goes, well, I'm sorry, hon, but and let's say dad had a good sense of humor, right? He's just showing me a horse just crapping on the ground. Well, that's not my dad. Why would he be showing me a horse crapping on the ground?
Right.
Right? Horse apples. Right? He's just, he's telling you, well, you're full of shit. I'm showing you, here's your sign, horse
Yeah.
apples, right? He's giving you the sign, but he's telling you not to take yourself too seriously on the other side, because he's, I'm here. I'm telling you, here's your sign. Yeah, you told me to say apples to you, but here's horse apples. And he's having a good laugh over there.
Mm-hmm.
But also giving you your keyword, at the same time that he's doing his work over there. But sometimes we take things so literally that we don't sit and go, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, he gave me my sign. There it is. It's horse apples. Yeah, but
if you allow your cynicism to take over and say that there's nothing else, then why are we living through this? Why are we enduring this? And how can we have any sort of hope for anything if you know that nothing happens after? That your connections are all dissolved, that there is nothingness after. Then why are we doing this? Why are we continuing to go forward? I think there is something there. There is this greater energy that we all become a part of, and that our personalities and who we are continues to endure through time, space, and our existence.
yeah, exactly. Speaking of that other side, 1 out of 4 Americans say that they've had near-death experiences, according to a major survey. Now, the study reveals that 23% of American adults report having had a near-death experience after which they've returned to normal human existence. The study also reveals that 35% of the individuals queried about such experiences who have had an NDE themselves said they know someone who has. In an NDE, usually during a close brush with death, a person has a vivid, emotional, intense experience of lucidity, perceiving the material world from a position outside the physical body and or perceiving and interacting with beings and environments not of the material world, said Janet Riley, executive director of the International Association for Near-Death Studies, in an email to the debrief. Afterwards, experiencers are usually profoundly changed. The survey conducted in March of 2026 by Sentiment and involving 2,100 Americans. That's a pretty broad study, to be honest with you.
Yes, that's surprisingly broad. I was like 1 in 4. That's a huge number.
1 in 4 out of a study size of 2,100 is pretty big.
That's huge. Yes,
Yeah.
that's significant results.
Yeah. Looked more deeply at the effects of these experiences. Among those who reported having an NDE, 51% said the experience gave them a deeper meaning and appreciation for life. 37.6% said they felt more connected to a spiritual realm. Over 31% said the experience changed their life priorities. 30% said they were less afraid of death than before. 30% reported greater empathy for others, and 26% said they had become more generous and socially minded.
Well, it sounds like we need some more NDEs. Everybody's a lot nicer after they get a little brush with death, aren't
We
they?
need to kill everybody off and bring them back. All these
I've known a couple of people who have had NDEs, and it profoundly, I mean, profoundly changed their lives. For some people who have these NDEs, it seem like they have a something opens up. And let's relay this to my field that I'm in. I'm in cryptozoology. I do cryptid field research. I'm out hunting Bigfoot, Dogman. This is what I do. So I interact with a lot of people who also are interested in doing that. Some people that I've met who have had NDEs that are involved in this, it seems like after their near-death experience, they have this moment where they're marked, and it seems like they have more experiences after that NDE than they had before. Now, whether that's more where the NDE has made them more aware of it, more open to it, they're more interested in new age subjects, therefore they're more interested in paranormal subjects. That could be a factor in it. Or is there the possibility that because they've come so close to crossing through this veil that they've touched it, and now that they've done that, they're somehow marked in some way, that whatever these things are, they can look at you and say, oh, they know something that these people don't know. They know about this other existence, what's beyond that veil, that other realm.
Have you ever had any of your friends who have had NDEs come back and tell you when it comes to your field, particularly, I think I know all the secrets about your field?
Not all of them, but there's bafflement for sure. There's this, I don't know what happened, but it seems like I'm having more experiences. But I've never had anybody come to me with like this overall great enlightenment that they know all the answers to everything after an NDE.
Really? Huh.
Really? Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I know that. I mean, the few experiences that I've interviewed on air, they seem to, not that they have answers, but they feel a more connectedness to people. So
A greater understanding, perhaps, and a greater level of empathy and connection on a deeper
yeah,
level.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it seems like there's less of a wanting to know the meaning of the universe because they feel like they've understood it almost subconsciously, right?
Yeah. And perhaps they've had it all along. It's that they were looking for this greater answer, but it is a great answer. It's a huge answer, but maybe it's not as complex as you expected. Maybe it
Right.
is that interconnectedness and that empathy and that being part of a greater energy and a greater world is the actual meaning of life.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like, well, it got solved when I was there. I don't need to look for it anymore. Right.
Yeah, there is a level of peace that people seem to have. I have a lady that I talk to pretty often. She had a brush with death with cancer, and she beat it against all odds. And as a result of that, she is absolutely fearless. She has fear of nothing. She goes into very dangerous situations, and she does it with. I mean, she's not bungee jumping off of with a long rope or anything, but she is going into situations that she normally wouldn't have gone into. I think she has that realizes what a short life we have, what the value of your life is, and that you have purpose here, and that you need to fulfill your purpose and keep moving forward and keep fighting forward, and never let fear keep you back from fulfilling your purpose in this world.
Yeah, that's true. The only thing is, can you ever have enough energy to get through it?
No, right?
I mean, it's just staying awake and staying active to get to the end of the purpose. But yeah, it's important to keep that in mind that life is so incredibly short and that there's so much to get through, right?
Yeah, yeah. And you'll never get it all done. Your list is never done, but making those connections with people and understanding that you're part of something greater and that you do have a purpose and you do have a place here on earth. I think that's the most important thing. And just do your best and connect with as many people as you can in a positive way.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We'll get into more scary, spooky stories here for the next couple of stories. Some terrifying bangs and massive screams heard in Britain's most haunted house. Loud bangs and cries for help have been heard from the giant but now deserted stately home known as the Devil Mound. That sounds like a double entendre. I'm not going to lie, Jesse. The Devil Mound. Been there, done
I've known a few devil mounds that'll make you scream in your day.
Been there, done that, paid a lot of money for it, and have the souvenir t-shirt. A hub for devils is terrifying locals after massive screams for help were heard from the deserted hallways of Britain's most haunted stately home. I believe this is Shugborough Hall, the ancestral home of the Earls of Lichfield in Stafford.
Jeez.
Yeah, there's a devil mound at Lichfield. I bet you it's satisfied. The ancestral home of the Earls of Lichfield in Staffordshire is now empty and lies at the heart of Cannock Chase, said to be the home of Bigfoot and black-eyed ghost children. You up for a trip?
It's got everything.
It's got everything. Ghost hunters have warned activity in the forest has been blocked by an ad, evidently, that won't get out of my way.
That's the real devils among us.
That's the real devils among us.
Pop-up ads.
Pop-up ads on the site. Interesting. But as there's a paranormal activity there has been regularly monitored and is definitely up and seems like there's a period of transition there at the moment. So there's been much more thermal activity and nighttime wandering around the home. According to these ghost hunters, they've put it down to changes in the world unrooting with the paranormal one. And now that seems to be extending to other parts of the forest around the home. So all kinds of paranormal activity outside the home with Bigfoot, inside the home with ghosts.
All right. Well, video or it didn't happen. Show me some receipts.
Shugborough Hall is steeped in paranormal lore. They say there's lots of historic stories. The name of the hall is said to translate from Anglo-Saxon as Devil Mound. So that's what Shugborough Hall means. And the estate is said to be the site of multiple enduring ghost stories, ranging from an ill-fated countess to wandering spirits. There's rumors that the home is haunted by Lady Harriet Georgina Hamilton, the wife of the second Earl of Lichfield, who lived there before.
At least it's not haunted by George Hamilton.
Yes, because you don't want a tan vampire running around chasing you.
There he is.
She died tragically in childbirth. Visitors and former residents report a noticeable drop in temperature in certain rooms and are said to hear her clothes rustling and footsteps. They say now we had reports of screams asking for help in the grounds of the home. The historic property and estate are fully managed by the National Trust. The public can visit, according to one of the people who investigates there. There's that same damn pop-up ad there. How do I get rid of it? I hate this site, by the way. It's one of this, but they always have good stories. It says it's known that even local dogs being walked in the area are staying away, unlike they would normally. There have even been massive bangs heard from the hallway when the place is shut up, and it's terrifying. Lots of stuff going on in this place.
Well, it sounds like a perfect opportunity for somebody to go and get great evidence. So I look forward to the videos of all of this happening.
Yeah. By the
That's
way,
one thing that I always go into is we film everything. We go to great pains to film everything we do. We get really amazing evidence of something strange going on. You know, we get vocalizations, we get all kinds of stuff. And we are always working towards building better apparatus to get that evidence. Anybody can say anything about anywhere, but you have the ability to go and get it. Show us some receipts, you know. Let's see some receipts.
Have you ever been to Cannock Chase?
No. I'm not allowed to leave the country.
You're not?
No.
Why not? What'd you do? Who'd you kill?
The violent felonies.
Oh, yeah, violent felon. All right.
I'm kidding.
I'll have to call your parole officer then.
You give me, hey, write me a note. No.
I will.
No, I
I'll
just
do it.
haven't. I haven't. No, I've just been toiling away in southern Appalachia for so long.
Oh, right. We'll have to get you to Cannock Chase. Here's the deal. Here's why. Because people encounter entities such as the pigman, werewolves, ghosts, phantom hitchhikers, and black-eyed kids.
All right. I mean, I'm there for it. I have the means to record and investigate all these things.
We'll get you and the crew together. We'll send you out there for like, I don't know, 3 months, and we'll just have you roll film the entire time.
No problem whatsoever. Let's get just the wave of a pin, and we're there.
There's like 4 movies there. There's like 4 or 5 movies there.
Yeah.
Just set you down there for 3 months. You just roll film.
There you go.
I'm not trying to get rid of you, Jessi.
It sounds like it.
No. I'm just thinking that's your.
I'd love to. Believe me, I'd love to. But yeah, I live in the real world. I can't be going off for 3 months to film ghosts, but I'd love to.
Plus
if I could figure it out, I'd love to.
Tell Joe it's all the blood pudding he can eat.
Oh gosh, well he's Irish, so I don't know. He doesn't want anything English going too close to him.
I know he'll love that. That'd be fun. And probably this next story is what will happen when you tell Joe there's all the blood pudding he can eat. Are you ready for this? Yvette Fielding almost quit Most Haunted after a crew member got hurt in a ghost attack. So he'll probably go, blood pudding, I'm out. We'll see you later. I'm going back.
Sayonara.
Yep. We're heading out. We're gone. The Star's sound technician suffered a cut so deep you could actually see the bone during a live broadcast in the Edinburgh vaults. Have you ever had anybody get injured that bad on a shoot?
Not from something supernatural or anything. We've had quite a few falls and spills just from running around the woods at night, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yikes. Yvette Fielding almost quit Most Haunted after a crew member got hurt in a ghost attack. The 57-year-old paranormal investigator who co-created the long-running spooky ghost hunting series with her husband Carl Beatty in 2002. Wow, it's been that long already. Recalled a moment that she nearly walked away after their sound tech suffered a cut so deep you could actually see the bone during a live broadcast from the Edinburgh vaults. Yvette said, I had never thought that we could get harmed. Well, that's your first mistake. Sorry, lady. She said, I kept crying and saying, that's it. I'm done. I can't cope with this. What the hell are we dealing with? Jack the Ripper, probably. No, I'm kidding. The vaults date back to 1785 and began as a gambling and boozing den of sorts underneath the city. Rumors have circulated over the years that serial killer William Burke and William Hare stashed bodies there, though this hasn't been proved. There's been talk of violent ghosts roaming there for years. 2 other members of the crew were left cut and scratched, with everyone shaken by the terrifying incident. Yvette was ready to quit the show, but she took a few weeks to debate her future on the show, which has returned for a 28th season on Pluto TV and discusses her feelings with her husband, Carl. However, her resolve hit through, and she was determined not to let this beat her. She explained, those are really choice words. She explained, I then started researching cases throughout history where people were physically hurt by seemingly a spirit. It was unbelievable the amount of terrifying cases that were reported in the newspapers. How does she not know that people get harmed by spirits?
Yeah, wait, how long have you been doing this and you are not aware of that? And also, she didn't get injured. It was a crew member. I would
Right.
understand the crew member being upset, but somebody gets hurt and she's like, I need a few weeks. Give me a
Right.
few weeks,
Yeah.
okay? Okay.
Buck up, Buttercup. Let's go. Right.
Yeah, really. Oh, all righty. But I mean, you have to know that there are risks involved in doing this. If but you have to take those risks. If you want to get the footage, if you want to do the work, you have to take on a certain amount of risk. And you've been doing this since 2002. You're like, well, I didn't know ghosts could hurt you. That's like one of the main things that you hear about when there's hauntings, when you have poltergeists involved in anything. There's a physical danger there. You have a level of physical danger and spiritual danger as well. So that's kind of shocking. I'm glad she could take a couple of weeks off.
Here's a little something to put your mind at ease, Jessi. You ready for this?
All right.
Back in October of 2025, Yvette revealed that she and Carl were moving out of their once haunted house 23 years after moving into the creepy Tudor detached house in the Cheshire County side. Are you ready for this? This is where my heart is happy for the two of them. Are you ready?
Okay.
She said at the time, we're moving. We've had a really lovely holiday cottage in Devon and fell in love with it. So our plan is to move there from Cheshire. I feel for them. I'm really happy now.
My lovely holiday cottage. Well, that's nice.
My heart soars for them that they've moved to Devon from Cheshire.
Am I doing all this all wrong? Am I doing all this wrong?
I think you need a lovely cottage in Cheshire.
That's the solution to all these issues.
That's right. You just need a lovely cottage, dear, in Cheshire.
I need to take a few weeks off after somebody over here gets injured. I bet she made the sound guy keep working on stuff though. Listen, darling, wrap it up.
Listen, darling, just wrap that thing like a mummy and let's move. I, by the way, need a few weeks so I can move everything to my new cottage in Cheshire.
You have to understand.
You have to understand. I'm flummoxed.
Welcome to Ghost Hunting Class War with Jessi and Tim.
Yes. When the underlings get themselves injured, we must take time off. It's horrible, really. By the way, pinkies up when we drink our little tea and coffee.
Cucumber sandwiches.
Oh, cucumber sandwiches. I so love that at break.
I adore them. Adore them.
When craft services makes them, they put a little bow on them. They're so nice.
But if you are an injured soundman, stay the F away from my cucumber sandwiches.
No blood on the sandwiches, darling, please.
Yes.
Please. I'm trying to maintain my appetite.
Jeez. All right. Well.
Moving on, a time traveler from the year 6000 claims future is very bad for humanity. So's the
Based on all these stories, I'm going to agree with him.
Yeah, the present ain't too great either. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's been around for too long.
Tell me something I don't know, Mr. 6000.
That's right. Mr. 6000. A self-described time traveler has revealed that what he claims life looks like for humanity in the year 6000 and insists he has photographic proof of a futuristic city to support his story. The individual, whose identity is hidden, of course, he would never come out and tell us what his name is, would he? Alleges he participated in a secret government initiative to send people into the future during the 1990s. Do you really think there was an initiative in the 1990s to send people into the future?
No, absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not. And also, I was looking at that article. He's wearing a terrible Columbia sportswear jacket. You'd think if you're a person of the future, you would know that technical fabrics exist, sir.
Outlining what Outlining what existence looks like 4,000 years from now, the time traveler claims that advances in healthcare, political systems, revolutionary technology will make present day life seem completely primitive. The anonymous source, who has his voice disguised, also asserts that humanity lives peacefully under benevolent rule of an AI leader. Oh, it's about time the overlords took over and we're all good.
Finally.
Yay.
I honestly, I don't see humanity lasting to the year 6000. Like, I mean, let's think logically here. I don't see it lasting to the year 6000, right?
Right. Yeah. No.
I mean, we're on such a path of self-destruction right now, and it's only 2026. You're talking a long time from now.
Yeah. He says it comes after a viral 1941 photo sparked a time travel debate as people were left confused by an eerie detail. The bizarre footage was posted to Apex TV, a platform dedicated to unexplained phenomena and the supernatural. It shows a man sitting down with a reporter at a secret venue to reveal what he knows about classified technologies, what awaits mankind in the year 6000.
Is he British as well?
I believe so, darling. He's
There we go. Here we go. They've
cucumber
got a lot of
sandwiches.
time on their hands, don't they?
You know what they don't have in the year 6000?
What don't they have?
Tea and crumpets.
That's the real crime.
That's why I came back. There's not a good tea in the year 6000. So I came back here for some Earl Grey.
I just imagine like humanity is in a state of like, Dune at that point, right? Are we not advanced to the point of Dune where our humanity has been stripped from us? And, I just, the dire warnings are true, I guess, but I just don't see us lasting to the year 6000 at all.
I don't either. Oh, there's a little bit of a heartstring moment here that he's going to pluck the one heartstring I have left. The self-proclaimed time traveler then became emotional as he revealed he was compelled to abandon a close companion who could not make the journey back in time here with him. He's got to go back in time. He knows he's in a good place. Or he says, I know he's in a good place, the man said. In a way, the future is like a utopia, but sadly, when we attempted to travel back, we couldn't. I just wanted to see him one more time.
Why did he travel back? Did he say why he traveled? Why are you here? Like, why did he come back here to this caveman era, as he so claims?
He says, I know a lot of you are going to find my story extremely hard to believe, and I don't blame you. And if I was watching somebody claim these things, I myself most likely would not believe them. Well, thank you.
Well, there's a level of self-awareness, sure.
Yeah. He says, it's not my intention to deceive anybody. I simply want to spread a message about the future of humanity and where the world is heading. I have seen the way the world's changed and the technologies that have emerged. It would blow your mind if you only knew the technologies that exist in the year 6000.
Wow. But he said that we're under rule of a benevolent AI dictator. Yeah. So, I mean,
yeah.
I think he's a plant. I think he's an AI dictator plant.
All hail the great benevolent Sparky. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Dictator Sparky.
Dictator Sparky.
Yeah. The old Sparky. As the footage ends, the man maintains that advanced future innovations will allow humans to shrink in size, eliminating space constraints. So you get a cot at the Y is what you get.
This does not sound like a utopia to me.
No.
I think the world we live in, where ghost hunters who are unaware that there's dangers in ghost hunting, who have like multiple houses, including a summer cottage.
Yeah,
and that's what a utopia, isn't it?
Yes. I'll take my cucumber sandwiches on the veranda, if you will. Yeah, the premise is similar to Matt Damon's movies Downsizing.
Oh, okay. All right.
He further alleges time travel will be publicly acknowledged by 2028. So we'll have time travel by 2028, Jessi.
Oh, sweet. All right, cool. So this is all going to be sorted out. So it's all sorted. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah. He also suggests we'll soon learn if there's any validity to his remarkable claims. So
you'll all see.
You'll see. All hail the benevolent Sparky. Sparky, ladies and gentlemen. Is there a mystery really to Stonehenge and what it is? Isn't it a huge clock? Have we decided that now?
I mean, there's still speculation as far as I know about its real, intended purpose.
I have an article here that says that it may have finally been solved. They're saying one of the most studied and debated Neolithic monuments, Stonehenge, remains a testament to a people long lost to the annals of history. You got to be careful how you spell that, by the way. There's two N's in annals.
Yeah.
Hmm. They claim here a new study has highlighted a possible way that this huge stone could have got there in the Orcadian Basin of northeast Scotland to Salisbury. According to researchers, the stone that may have been carried by glacier to Doggerland, a long submerged region that lies off the coast, what is now southeast England. They say once it was there, it would actually serve as. I'm trying to determine if this is worth reading. I don't think it is. I'm going to skip it. Yeah, they made it sound like, oh, we solved the mystery, and then they're like, nah. All right, two more of the palate cleanser, and then we're out of here today. Scientists may know why people keep hearing mysterious humming sounds. My guess, it's that irritating guy on the bus who's next to you. That's probably it.
Mystery solved.
Mystery solved. We're done. They claim that there's been several cases of a mysterious humming noise, often occurring across a wide area and affecting a large number of people at a time. They claim the phenomena often deny explanation, with local authorities investigating the reports, but no conclusive source being found at the time, much to the dismay of those who hear it. In some cases, people have been driven to despair by the hum, which can continue unabated all day and night, leaving them unable to sleep and causing ongoing stress and discomfort. Allow me to add to it. No, it's in your head now for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I'm done.
According to researchers at the Norwegian University of Science and Technology, the answer to this phenomena could be that some people may simply have better low-frequency hearing than others and are therefore able to hear sounds that most people cannot. It's also thought that a form of tinnitus, or tinnitus, as some people call it, might also be responsible. Unfortunately, the late Ian Punnett had a problem with that. And I know it's a horrible problem to have.
Or it could be directed microwaves right into your brain. That is a experiment where they're testing crowd control measures on these people to see if they can drive them slowly insane. These people are all just test subjects.
That's right. Professor Marcus Drexel says we know that there are people who hear low frequency sounds that can actually be measured even if other people don't hear them. Like Jessi said, it could be like another form of Havana syndrome.
Yeah, it could be. What is the level of infrasound? Is what, sub 20 hertz?
Something like that. Yeah.
Sub 20. Yeah. There's this misconception that Bigfoot can use infrasound to stun people or anything like that. You've got a lot of different wildlife that use it. Whales use it, but you don't see marine biologists bobbing up to the surface because they've been stunned by a whale using infrasound. But perhaps so. Perhaps there are people, and if it's people from that particular region, maybe they have sort of adapted and evolved in a way differently than the rest of humanity, depending on how it is, because they're pretty up there. They're in Norway, right?
Yeah.
So this could be some sort of adaptation that is only seen in these people.
Very true. Good news to this whole thing is it suggests that these people may be hearing a sound that genuinely exists, though the bad news is that finding a solution to it may not be easy. Other than cotton in the ears.
Yeah. Unless you feel the hum in your...
Oh, that's a great slogan. Feel the hum.
Feel the hum.
That sounds really dirty when you think about it. I'm not even going to get into it right now. Finally, there's a huge mystery out there as groups of people are seen climbing out of New York City sewers. And they're
mole people.
Mole people are Knicks fans, one or the other. They're climbing out of the sewers for one reason or another. Local authorities have been perplexed following numerous sightings of people emerging from manholes. That doesn't sound right either, I know. Somehow or someone has been repeatedly venturing beneath the streets of New York City recently and it has nothing to do with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Police officers in the Big Apple have been attempting to determine why there have been so many sightings of people, sometimes whole groups at a time, clambering out of manholes. Video footage showing this happening has been circulating for a while now on social media. It remains unclear what these people are actually doing down in the sewers, and according to police, an investigation of the sewer has found nothing of any significance. The NYPD, to make sure that there was not a threat to the public, sent their highly trained emergency services unit officers into the sewer system to make sure nothing nefarious had been left behind by individuals. Nothing was found. And the city environmental protection department, which manages the system, also went in and apparently found no damage to the sewer system equipment. One possible explanation for the mystery is that people have been searching for valuables that have been dropped and washed in the sewers, but this seems somewhat unlikely. As things stand, the search for answers continues.
So I'm going to, of course, bring this back to my favorite film of all time, Demolition Man. They might have a whole underground society where they have left our world behind. They have their own society. They have homes. They have markets down there. They have a whole existence below our feet that we're not even aware of.
That could be.
There's been documentaries made about people who live in the sewer system, abandoned rail systems down there, that there's plenty of room down there for people to live. And with rising costs, you have homelessness skyrocketing right now. It would not surprise me that there is actually a large amount of people that are living in abandoned subway systems, rail systems, sewer systems underneath New York City. So, I mean, this has been something that's gone on for a while, but it might be growing now. And you actually have people who are getting video of it now because everybody has a cell phone.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me at all. I think you're right. Yeah. The cost of living in New York is outrageous. So,
oh, yes. Yeah,
you're right. All right. And finally, our palate cleanser today takes place in Ontario, Canada, where the world's largest game of human foosball took place this past week. The Ontario Lottery and Gaming Corporation celebrated its upcoming FIFA World Cup by organizing the world's largest game of human foosball. There's this Ontario, California. The May 23rd event at Humber Polytechnic Lakeshore Campus West in Etobicoke. I'm not sure. I don't know how you pronounce it. Involved 254 participants holding onto giant horizontal poles and attempting to kick a soccer ball into an oversized goal.
I've seen this done before.
You have?
I have seen human foosball. Yeah, it's a thing. I've seen it done before. It's quite fun. It's challenging because you have to hold on to the poles and everybody has to kind of move together as a team. People fall a lot. But yeah, I've seen human foosballs. This is old hat. This has been done. But yeah, it's always very entertaining to watch because people fall constantly. And it's always interesting to watch people try to, participate in some teamwork of moving the pole properly to go and get the ball. But yeah.
Soccer is about teamwork, energy, and shared experience. A human foosball Guinness World Records attempt brings these elements to life in a fun and unforgettable way, said Neil Lumsden, who is Ontario's Minister of Sports. This must be Ontario, Canada.
This is Canada, yeah.
The record-keeping organization confirmed the event qualified as the world's largest game of human foosball.
Good for them. I'm glad the Canadians are keeping it real.
Yeah. For real, though. With that's all I got. I can't top human foosball. That's for sure.
Although I wonder, the only time I've ever seen it done is at bars and like outdoor like drinking establishments. So, that's always an added little fun thing if they're popping a few. What do they drink in Canada? They still got Molson's up there. What do they got?
Yeah, they got there's always
Molson's. All right, so they're just popping a few Molson's and kicking a ball around. That's
Molson,
good for them.
Yeah, there's some Labatt's going. There's all kinds of Canadian beer flowing, I'm sure, and some whiskey.
Yeah, good for them.
Yeah, absolutely. The latest documentary is The Monster on Morse Mountain, Bigfoot in the UR.
No, that was my first one. No.
That was the first one?
That's old news, Tim. That's my first movie. I'm working on my fourth one now. My fourth one now. Jeez, yeah. My last movie I did was Dark Territory.
Oh, that's right. It's right. I'm sorry. I'm on the wrong blog post on your.
You got the old copy, but that's okay. Right now we are working on filming our third movie of the year for Small Town Monsters. You can check out all of my other movies that I've done on the Small Town Monsters YouTube channel. Monster on Moore's Mountain, The Sumter Sasquatch, Dogman Massacre, Dogman at the LBL. There you go. That's what it was. Right now and you can always check out everything that I do on my channel. It's hellbentholler on YouTube. We just put out a investigation video that's very interesting. We found evidence that it appears that Sasquatch is using quartz as trail markers because we have a theory that they can see beyond our spectrum of sight, so that they can kind of see these quartz markers at the blue hour and see these trails. It's a little crazy and complex, but it's interesting. We keep finding this over and over again, and we get a vocalization that sounds absolutely terrifying. That's on my channel, Hellbentholler. But right now we are diving into filming our third film for Small Town Monsters at Blood Mountain, Georgia. And I'm going to do a little call to action here, if you don't mind. If you've had an experience at Blood Mountain or in the Blood Mountain wilderness, you are welcome to email me at hellbentholler@gmail.com, because I would like to hear about your experiences out there. We're going out there and filming and investigating for the next month, and we're super excited about diving into a place that is so rich with encounters and history. We are ready to put our little hellbentholler spin on it. So if you've had an experience out there, please email me at hellbentholler@gmail.com. That's all I got. That's all I'm up to right now. Tim?
That's more than I got going on. I think I'm going to the Twins game on Saturday.
Sweet.
Yeah, there's that. And we got a show on tomorrow, so come on back tomorrow for a show. There's that. Yeah.
Cucumber sandwiches.
Oh, and cucumber sandwiches on the veranda in Cheshire. We have that going on as well. Also, make sure you got your Darkness Radio apps updated, and go support the show. Go to darknessradioshow.com. Check out the shop as well. I think that'll do it for today, Jessi. I think we're wrapped up. But join us tomorrow for another exciting episode of Darkness Radio. I want to thank Jessi Doyle from Hellbentholler.
Thank you for having me.
To Joe and the crew, please. And we will see you back here tomorrow for another exciting episode of the best in paranormal podcasting. Thank you very much for watching and listening to the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio.
For more audio and video archives of the show, intriguing content, fun events, and cool swag, check out darknessradioshow.com. The executive producer of Darkness Radio is Troy Palmer. If you enjoyed today's show, please make sure you like and subscribe. This videocast is copyrighted for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this videocast, including audio, video, descriptions, or accounts of today's show, is prohibited without the consent of Darkness Radio Management. Thank you for watching, and join us tomorrow for The Occult Elvis, the mystical and magical life of the King with Miguel Connor.